How America became a superpower. The current United States is the most powerful nation in human history. They account for 37% of global military spending and have over 800 military bases. Do you even realize that the United States is one of the biggest nations on the planet in terms of both population and area? Are you aware that there aren't any significant dangers to America's borders? Yes, America is so strong and wealthy that it is unafraid of any threat on the international stage. In this video, we will show you how America attained its pinnacle of dominance and how it is continuing to do so. Prior to World War II, when America was not a global power in any meaningful sense, is when its involvement in international politics first began. Regarding whether the nation should enlarge beyond the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, early Americans were sharply divided. After the Civil War, when certain leaders urged that America should make efforts to become a worldwide player, this topic became a hot topic of discussion. American expansionism was the subject of heated domestic and international discussion in the late 1800s and early 1900s. When President McKinley forced the nation into war with Spain over Cuba in 1898, that was the crucial turning point. The US would annex the Kingdom of Hawaii, Wake Island, and American Samoa over the course of the following 2 years. Additionally, it sent troops to occupy the Dominican Republic and assumed control of the Panama Canal Zone. America also started utilizing its power to defend its military and commercial interests abroad, creating pro-American governments in nations like Nicaragua and exerting significant influence on global diplomacy in relation to the Western presence in China. America's isolationism remained a powerful influence in the country. The US was significantly more preoccupied with its own region than with events in Europe during the Great Depression and the ascent of Hitler. In the end, America could not avoid involvement in international politics due to its expanding foreign involvement. America's global presence will change permanently as a result of World War II. The United States was in a unique position to decide the conditions of the peace. It seized the opportunity in an effort to stop a new war. The founding of the United Nations is the most well-known illustration of this. The Charter established a system of international law that forbade conquest-based wars like those carried out by the Japanese and the Nazis. It functioned as a platform for the UN international community to comment on conflicts and contribute to their resolution. Delegates from the 44 allies gathered in New Hampshire's vacation spot in 1730 to create an international financial system that would avert another Great Depression and a global conflict. The Soviet Union, the second largest power in the world, had a different perspective, which was the problem. The democratic West and the communist East became allies in the fight against Hitler during World War II. Yet, that couldn't continue. The Soviet Union's growth into Eastern Europe and other areas was directly a danger to the United States' ideal of a democratic, free trade world. Socialism has significantly reduced human liberties by spreading the shadow of human regimentation across the majority of the world's nations in one way or another. In order to prevent Russia from conquering other European states, the US and other European nations formed the North Atlantic Treaty Organization out of fear of Soviet intentions toward Western Europe. Globally, the US committed to the containment strategy, which got its name from the fact that it tried to stop the spread of communism worldwide. This latest conflict involved the US. It was necessary to always exercise influence everywhere. The vast military apparatus built during World War II was essentially left in place and never disbanded. Two main effects came from this. 1. The US began making secret interventions in dozens of nations to limit Soviet influence during the Cold War. As a result of this, there are now convoluted alliances, conflicts, and connections in pretty much every region of the planet. 2. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, the US became involved in countless conflicts around the world. When the Cold War ended, it was possible to imagine a world in which the US no longer played an active role in managing international affairs. President Clinton and George H.W. Bush decided that it was in the best interests of both the United States and the rest of the world for the country to remain involved. NATO was created during the Cold War to counter the threat from the Soviet Union. In the absence of a Soviet threat, support for countries like Israel and Japan stayed intact. Trump has said contradictory things about these commitments, but he's consistently argued that American allies are not paying the US enough for protection. Regarding the potential for a new alliance between the US and South Korea, President Donald Trump asserts that it will be better off if South Korea started to defend his Saudi Arabia. Of course, if it means that Japan defends itself from the lunatic in North Korea. This is a major divergence from the consensus that has governed US. Foreign policy after 1945 has been more in line with the isolationism that preceded it. Did you see the steps it took the great nation before they got to be the leader in the corridor of power? Do you think President Trump implemented some of Canada Trump's suggestions and undo years of institutional development and alliances? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. If you are new here, please subscribe and press the notification bell to be aware of the next video.